Well, all right. Well, thanks to Michael Roth. Michael Roth knows a lot of folks in the biz. We like that. Thank you, Michael. But he introduced us to our next or to our speaker tonight, Billy Sprague, and we're excited to have him. He's sounded like he's a man of many talents, a prolific songwriter, artist, author, and ice cream connoisseur. I like that last one.
It makes me hungry.
Yeah.
And I helped make 3 babies.
Oh boy, you got 3 boys. Lives out there in Florida. Nice.
I got a daughter and 2 boys. Yeah.
Oh, great. How old are they?
Well, I started late. I got married at 42. So they're 25, 23, and I've got a senior in high school graduating June 3rd.
Well, that is nice.
Nice. Keeps me young and tired.
I loved it when kids were going to high school. That's fun time.
Yeah, lots of soccer games.
But Billy's he's been a touring musician, songwriter, recording artist. Has written award-winning musicals. Has written books. His latest book is Music City Mayhem, a detective story set in Nashville. He can tell us more about that if he likes.
Yeah, it just came out 2 weeks ago.
Well, that is great. So he knows a lot about the business and songwriting, and we're very pleased to have him give us his thoughts tonight. I'm going to let Billy take it away.
Well, thank you, Michael. I saw your byline is, motivating and uplifting songwriters through education.
Sure.
So I'll start with something maybe not that motivating. I got a royalty check this week from SAG-AFTRA, and I guess they have this slush fund of intellectual property rights. And anymore, this is not why we write songs. We write songs because we're inspired to write songs, and it helps us make sense of the world. There's not much living in the lottery mentality, they call it in Nashville. If you just get a big Garth cut, you can retire. And so the lottery mentality has gone away. So I got a check this week for $12.53. And that's not real motivating. And it's, I don't know what it's even for. It's, SAG-AFTRA monitors airplay and TV and film. And so I probably sang on a thing years ago. We did a songwriter record, Wayne Kirkpatrick, Gordon Kennedy, and a guy named Phil Madeira. And so we did songs that we had written that other people did. And so we did Change the World, and I sang harmony on it. And and it was used for a bank commercial in New York City. And we started getting checks for that. I went, wow, that was just tangential money. All I did was sing background vocals. And so it may be that $12 may be from something like that. I have no idea. I don't write songs anymore. As you know, I don't write songs for money. You'd like to think it's really hard to monetize, as you guys know, music. And yet it's being made everywhere and played everywhere. And it's in us. I do it because it's in me. I'm in love again with a woman I dated in '84. She buried her husband a couple of years ago, and we got back together, and I went through a divorce. Sparks flew last June, and I've written her 10 love songs that maybe only she will ever hear. Because I'm probably not going to run out and record a love song album. I don't know, but we write songs because they're in us to do. So I hope I've got one particular thing I want to focus on tonight, but my buddies in Nashville are, we're all about, somebody put the wind in our sails. And so we want to turn around and put the wind in other people's sails. So we started a thing called Songwriting University about 3.5 years ago. It's an online songwriting curriculum. And we hook up writers from anywhere in the world to co-write with hit songwriters like Bobby Boyd, who wrote God Bless the Broken Road for Rascal Flatts, and Brian White, who's had some recent Jason Aldean. He had a Jason Aldean #1. So you can learn by, as I ran into a quote recently by Ben Franklin, and he said, tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, but involve me and I learn. So we started Songwriting University to give people information. We've got curriculum and inspiration, but it's all pointed toward collaboration. You know, we learn by writing with each other, but we can also learn by studying other songwriters. Reading the room, you know, some of us have quite a few rings on our trunk. We've been around a while. And when I started way back in the 70s, you know, my mom had a Zenith stereo that the turntable went down to 16 speed. So the 33, you know, Sweet Baby James, you could put on and play it at half speed. And it was like an octave lower. So you could hear what James was doing. And so I began to learn, you know, guitar from that. There was a tablature book. Remember the tablature books? And so you could learn, you know, precisely what he was doing and really grow and then bring that stuff into your own songwriting eventually. Once you got over the intimidation that, damn, he's good, and I'm not yet. So that's where I started, just, you know, studying the writers. And one of the things we do in Songwriting University in our curriculum, we have 7 lessons, and it leads to brainstorming an idea and then co-write with someone, co-write with a hit songwriter. And so you can go on our website and book a session with Bobby Boyd or Brian White. And a bunch of these guys have had pretty massive hits, and they're still, most of them, very active songwriters, trying to shake it up and, you know, keep the music thing going because it's in us to do, right? That's why we do it. So we offer, you know, and I still need, I like getting information and I like being inspired, but I really like collaboration and being involved. And I think that's how we learn. One of the things the thing I want to address tonight is, it's a really simple concept, but I don't know if you've ever run into this book, Songwriters on Songwriting by Paul Zollo. This is just one of the versions. He did several of these. He interviewed great songwriters. This is the big one. It's bigger than War and Peace, Songwriters on Songwriting. And it is fascinating information and inspiration from the biggest songwriters of the last 50, 60 years. And so one of the concepts in our lesson plan of our 7 lessons, lesson 4 is on discovery versus invention. And what that means is, really, it's simply starting with music first and not lyric. Nashville is a big hook town, right? Bobby Boyd came to Marcus Hummon, a big songwriter, and he said, "Hey, I got this idea. God bless the broken road." So, you know, starts verbally. And they got another guy, and the 3 of them wrote this song based on a verbal hook. Well, there's a wonderful interview in here by Paul Simon. And that's the way he wrote a lot. He got ideas, you know, verbal ideas, and I'm going to write a song about this or that. And so it started mostly in the head, you know, with lyrics. But in the mid 80s, he began to, after One Trick Pony, and, you know, he'd been writing huge songs. You know, he wrote, I don't know if you remember the song Red Rubber Ball by The Circle. You know, the morning sun is shining. You know, you remember that old
Morning sun is shining like a red rubber ball.
Yeah, Paul Simon co-wrote that in the 60s. So he'd been doing this a long time, right? But in the 80s, he began to learn a new thing. And he talks about it in this interview. It's really fascinating. And he calls it discovery versus invention. You know, invention is, you know, we've all been there in English class, and the teacher says, pull out a blank sheet of paper. and you go, oh crap, I didn't read the chapters last night. And so you got to invent, you got to come up with something, and you're running around your brain thinking, what the heck do I have to say? And I'm going to have to fake it because I didn't read the assignment. So invention brings a kind of anxiety and stress of, what is in my head to say? And I got to land on some kind of catchphrase, and that works. I mean, I've started songs for this woman I'm in love with, Carla. I started a song with a line that just said, "The sky is bluer, but I am not, since you started loving me." And the song kicked off with that idea and turned into a song called "Since You Started Loving Me," because it was very hooky, right? But let me just, if you don't have this book, it's amazing what you can learn and try new techniques from the great songwriters. And so the interviewer asked him, does your best work come from active, conscious thinking about what a song should say? And Paul Simon says, no, not anymore. Not in my writing in recent years. I don't consciously think about what a song should say. In fact, I consciously try not to think about what a song should say. There's a trick. Bob Dylan has a phrase. He says, I try to write from the unconscious mind, which it really is just saying, I write from feelings. I write from how my gut, what I discover in my gut that my head is too noisy to hear. So what do I really feel about these things? And he goes on, because I'm interested in what I find as opposed to what I'm planting, or, what I'm thinking up. I like to be the audience too. I like to discover what it is that's interesting to me. I like to discover it rather than plot it out. And that's much like, I've written 2 novels in the last 2 years, and one's just come out, another one's coming out this summer. And which was I was an English major, and I have a pretty good attention span for a songwriter. Our attention span's about 4 minutes. And a novel, I spent 11 months writing the first one and 11 months in last year writing the second one. And I discovered this wonderful quote by an author, a Spanish author. His name's Zafón. And it crosses over really for songwriting too. He says, a story is a letter that the author writes to himself to tell himself things that he would be unable to discover otherwise. Let me read that again. A story is a letter, and maybe a song is a letter, that an author writes to himself to tell himself things that he would be unable to discover otherwise. And you may have had the experience, you're working on a song and you're trying to get this thing out, and suddenly a memory comes back, and maybe of a hurt or a love or a loss. And this thing rises in you, and you blurt out a line that you didn't actually think of. You felt this line, and you take it out and look at it and go, wow, that feels kind of fresh. I didn't know that was inside me. So that's what the Zafón is getting at. And I had the idea for these books years ago, and I hadn't had the time to write, and now I do. And I knew generally the plot line. I didn't know how it was going to end exactly. I didn't know how many characters I was going to create. And in a murder mystery, I kidded my friends in Nashville. I said, I spent 400 pages playing God, and I didn't kill off a pastor or a music exec, and I take that as a sign of healing. But I didn't know when I started who was going to die, so I discovered it as I went, and I was working out some things inside me too, to discover some things. And that's what I think, that's why I still write songs, because you get a feeling, you get this something that wants to get out. And what Paul Simon is saying, I don't consciously try to think about what a song should say at the beginning. And so he began to write music, not knowing what it was going to be about. And he had an advantage. He had budget and he had amazing musicians around him. So he would go in the studio with these snippets of things with great musicians, and he would create these tracks, having no idea and really no melodies formed on them. Just a feel, and a chord structure, a guitar lick, and brainstorm with the guys, not thinking any, excuse me, not thinking anything verbally. And then he would walk around New York City with his headphones on and, you know, probably a Walkman back then, right? And he would just play these and walk around New York, and lines started drifting into his head. And it would fit a certain feel in a section of a song, and then the song would take off. Like he was walking by a museum and listening to this track, and this line dropped in his head: "There is a girl in New York City who calls herself the human trampoline." And he went, "What is that?" You know, he didn't consciously think of that. And then it developed into a metaphor. And sometimes when I'm falling, flying, or tumbling in turmoil, I say, "Oh, so this is what she means. She means we're bouncing into Graceland." Well, you know, that whole project won 5 Grammys, right? And he said, I started learning, and he was already a professional, but he started learning a new way to approach music and to write songs. And it was music first. And some of us are more musical, I think, inclined, and some of us are more lyric inclined. And that's when you really need, you know, to co-write. You got somebody who comes up with this great music and you're kind of a poet. It's a great combination, like, you know, Bernie Taupin and Elton John, pretty good combination of a poet and a musician. The Christian artist, Michael W. Smith, is not a very verbal guy at all, never has been. But he's had an orchestra in his hands. And he began to hook up with people. You know, Wayne Kirkpatrick was a great lyricist, so they got together. And even Michael's wife wrote a lot of lyrics on his first 2 records. And so you find those great combinations. So I think, let me just read a little more of this. Here's what Paul Simon says. "So I let the songs go this way and that way and this way and whatever way it is. And basically what I do is be the editor. And say, oh, that's interesting. Never mind that. That's not so interesting. That's good. That's a good line. And the most that I can do is say, there's a good line, and the rhyming pattern, I don't know. Let me see how I will set up that line. And that's the most I'll do, to construct the first half of a thought that's a setup to the second half. But I don't know what the second half is going to be. I have to sort of mull and live with that. So I would encourage you, if you've never seen this book, these interviews are incredible, not just information, but inspiration about the process. These guys, you know, we all admire these songwriters. They have created, you know, the soundtrack of our lives, right? And they're just guys with an instrument and a melody, and they come up with an idea and they bang it out. So in the middle of this, he says, writing about Graceland, he said, but at the same time, I was using a different technique in writing, which is in a way started with One Trick Pony, but really you could see clear evidence of it in Hearts and Bones, was the album before that. The imagery started to get a little interesting, and that's what I was trying to learn to do. So here's a professional, he's rich, making a lot of money off music, and he's still learning. So he started writing in a different way, and it took him to one of the biggest albums of that era, Graceland, and all these African musicians and very cool rhythmic stuff and melodic stuff. And the lyrics, as you know, they're very, what he says, my lyrics go from very fanciful, poetic language to very vernacular conversation. You can be my bodyguard. I'll be your long lost pal. You can call me Al, you know. And he loves the way words sound together, maybe not necessarily what they mean together, and then somehow the meaning follows. So he started writing music, not knowing where it came from. So I sit around and I began to do that years ago because I was an English major. I'm pretty verbal, and I think of stuff. I think up stuff, or I'm always looking for a phrase and thinking, oh man, I better write that down. Like a friend of mine told his wife a couple of years ago here, he's an engineer and she's an aspiring songwriter. We've written probably a dozen songs together. And he told his wife, she told me, he actually said to her, honey, you're just the right amount of perfect. Well, you're not going to let that one slip by. So we wrote that song in a jazzy kind of way, that you're just the right amount of perfect. So that song started verbally. Then you have to decide, well, what music fits that feeling? But I would challenge you, and I don't know if you guys tend to start with a hook, a verbal hook. And that's, many big songs have been written that way. But if you want to shake it up, really spend time in your instrument and come up with a musical thing that surprises you. One of the things for guitarists that happened to me years ago, I walked into a music store, Corner Music in Nashville, and there was a guy picking, and he was playing these things. And I thought, wait a minute, I don't know how you're getting those notes. And he was in a different, he was in a dad fad tuning. If you've experimented that, it's D-A-D, F sharp, A-D. Like this. I keep this guitar in it all the time. It's just a D chord. Can you hear that? Maybe it's not coming through. So I began to find new sounds with a new tuning, just in musical stuff and chord things, because there are notes ringing that I couldn't really reach in a regular tuning, right? It was more like piano groupings. And so I began to write, picking things and strumming things. And songs began to happen out of music that I wouldn't have written if I'd started. I don't think I would have written those if I'd started verbally. Does that make sense? So I would, and we can talk about that, your process. But that's and this is lesson 4 in our curriculum of the 8 lessons, that we go through. And we have great, like I say, we have great inspiration. We've got amazing video interviews with Gordon Kennedy, whose dad was Jerry Kennedy. He produced Blonde on Blonde, and his dad played the notes, the electric guitar on Pretty Woman. That's Gordon Kennedy's dad. So he was raised, and his dad produced all the Roger Miller stuff. So Gordon was raised in all of that. We've got an amazing inspiration and teaching kind of video from Gordon Kennedy, and a guy named Mike Reed, who wrote the Bonnie Raitt hit, I Can't Make You Love Me If You Don't. Just
Killer piano player.
Yeah, this song has wrecked many people who have already been wrecked by someone.
So Billy, if you pick up your guitar again,
Yeah.
sure you've got original sound from musicians turned on the Zoom, and we can hear the guitar.
Oh yeah, mine's off. How do I turn that
Just
on?
click the off to on.
There it is.
Yep.
Can you hear it now?
Yes, that's beautiful.
Awesome. So if I'm sitting around and I do something like this. I'll just play that stuff like that, D, walk up to a G. I don't know what that's going to be about yet. I mean, this is a song I wrote a couple of years ago. And I'm just thinking, well, and then I live with that and go, what in the world? And sitting in a moment of an unguarded moment, I just sang out, here's to the day love makes a way, peace comes to stay between, and peace comes to stay between us. And the song took off into a song called Here's to the Day. But it started with this guitar thing that I like that, I like that. And then it needed another section, and I'm going, well, so what if it goes, F sharp, B minor, G to the walk down, E major. Come help me sing hallelujah now. See, that's the sound when that morning wakes. So it turned into kind of an old gospel thing from a guitar pattern. And I had really, it could have turned into a love song. It could have been any number of things. But it began with music. And so more and more, and unless I land on a great hook like you're just the right amount of perfect, which is such an endearing thing to say to somebody, you know. The whole world needs to have somebody say that to them. Then I just think there's another doorway, because the music is so powerful on its own often. And then, as Paul Simon says, he really wanted to, it helped him discover what he really felt about things instead of what he already thought about things. But he began to, as he put it, I began to move feelings around with words. You know, which what songwriters do. And you paint pictures, and sometimes you use images, message in a bottle, or the boxer, you know. So that's the single thing, and that's our lesson 4 in our curriculum online. And so in each of those lessons we have assignments, we have exercises, we have a video assignment. Like in this one, Gordon Kennedy has a section of his video called His Creative Process. Mike Reed has a case study on a song he wrote called Everywhere. And then there are certain readings, and we don't sell these books, but we encourage songwriters to get it. This one's The Songwriter's Guide to Mastering Co-Writing. I don't know if you've seen this. And The Craft of Lyric Writing, you may have run it by Sheila Davis, is a good one. Early on, and then here's one about music business, music publishing. There are great informational things out there, and they really help a lot. You know, in co-writing, when I've co-written with people over the years, sometimes they didn't know how do you split up a copyright? What is that? You know, and there are the infamous guys in Nashville who are word counters. No, I wrote that word, I wrote that line. But mostly in Nashville, if 2 guys write the song, it's 50-50 split. If 3 write it, it's 33% each. So there's good information you need to learn about the nuts and bolts of things. But when it gets back down to the, you know, really, as they say, starts with the song, you got to get the songs out. And I appreciate you guys that you know, we're still, none of us are out really going to get famous or win the lottery with a big cut on Garth anymore, likely. But we have this gifting that I think we're expected to use by the one who gives the gifts, and it helps us. You know, writing helps make sense of my life, and certainly, I haven't written love songs in a long time, and I've written 10 since last June for this woman, and I find these new things to do. She's home. You know, wrote her a blues song called She's Home. She's home. So I would encourage you, I don't know if you you tend to be hook driven verbally. If you are, I would challenge you to get away from that some and just begin to discover with your instrument. And you and sometimes it's a cappella. You hear something come in your head. I do driving, and I whistle things into my phone just so I won't forget them. And I have no idea what it's about. And some of those turn into songs, and some of them I find them later go, pass. But so sometimes melodies float into your head. And sometimes somebody says something, you go, oh my gosh, I better write that down because that's a hook in a song. So that's my encouragement to you tonight and you can check out our curriculum. There's a lot of great resources there that I think will inspire you and help you look at songwriting in a different way. And the guys I've been around, I lived there 25 years and I go back and forth a lot. I've got 2 musicals in development right now. With the woman I told you I'm writing here, she began to write in her early 60s, late 50s, and we've written about a dozen songs. And she was trying to get her life out, like her kids are gone, and she was wrestling with an empty nest. And the first song we wrote was called Treasure Hunting, about an old woman sitting in her empty house and her husband's dead. And she's going through photographs, and she can hear the echo of her kids' feet in the house. And so she spends her days treasure hunting, remembering, the golden moments, and yet everyone is scattered. And then we wrote more and more, and she wrote she woke up in the middle of the night and flashed out these whimsical lyrics. I promised to put purple ink in my pen and turn the sugar bowl upside down again. And it was just delightful. And we wrote a song called Writing Time with No Hands. And now she's turning that in, she and her husband are turning that into a one-woman show about how time passes and the fractures of your family, having your own family, them moving on. And she's got this whole panorama that has come from the songs she's written that have bubbled up from her life. And then I have another musical we've been working on for 5 years in Nashville with people. We just had a table reading 2 Wednesdays ago with actors behind the tables and their character names in front, and we've recorded all the demos. So they read the parts and then cued the songs and played the demos. And we got after 5 years, we got our first investor through that evening. A guy actually wrote a check and said, man, I want to support this thing. So it's a long way from Broadway. It's only maybe a long way from even regional theater. But we have written this thing, and it's worth doing. And those songs were certainly inspired by what's going on in the story, because it was a story back in the early 60s, a book. And so we've written songs for story. And as I wrote, I can't keep music out of my first novel. The detective collects vinyl records, right? Because he grew up on them with his mom. And he's a frustrated songwriter. And everyone's so good in Nashville, he's finished like 3 songs in his adult life because he can't finish songs. But he's the #1 detective in Nashville. And his partner plays ukulele on stakeouts, because it's Nashville. Everybody plays something. So, and through this book, the soundtrack of his internal soundtrack are the songs that all these guys wrote. He'll hear an Eagles, he'll think of a suspect, and he'll hear in his head, Lion Eyes. So, and in the back, I documented, 150 songs that I referenced and found all the publishing to give everybody credit. Even most of them are just mentioned by title. And so, the music goes into this. As a friend of mine said, this is a book of, it's a match of music and mystery. So music, and I put original songs in there too, and even the cover is made like a record, and these are real songs that appear in the book. These are original songs. And my 2 buddies in Nashville, I just told them, in the small print on the right, it says, produced by Joe Beck and Jim Frazier, who have produced a lot of my music. So the music takes on, I'm 70 now and still making music, still getting ideas. But I love the verbal hook, but I really love, and because a friend of mine, Bruce Carroll, I don't know if you know that name, is a great Christian artist, singer, songwriter. He gave me this McPherson guitar for my 50th birthday 20 years ago. And then he made the joke, whatever songs you get out of that guitar, I get part of the publishing, which didn't happen. But we've written a lot of songs together. And this guitar certainly is, if you know McPherson at all, it's a very inspiring instrument to play. So that's what I have this evening, just that discovery versus invention. When the page is blank, write some music, not thinking what it's going to be about, but you're just kind of brailing. You're brailing for feeling and meaning, and not be constrained by what I should say, what I should think about something. Well, what do I really feel? What do I really feel about this? Make sense?
It really does. I'm sure every got a big echo going on. Yep. Can we fix that?
What's that? An echo?
Turn your original sound on.
On? Is that better?
Who, me?
I still hear an echo.
There's no echo now.
Okay, great.
It's better.
Anyway, Billy, that's wonderful, and I'm sure we've got a lot of questions for you.
Yeah.
I have just a couple. What is the website that educational?
It's Songwriting University, but it's songwritingu, the letter U.com. Songwritingu.com.
Songwritingu.
Oh, that's different from Song U. There used to be a Song U.
Yeah, there used to be. I don't know if they're still around, but this is songwritingu.com.
Songwritingu.com. Okay.
Yeah. And you can go there and find all of that. And we had the first 2 years, we didn't do it this year. We did song contest where we gave a $10,000 first prize, and then we had $500 prizes in 5 categories: Americana, gospel, pop, rock, and country.
A $10,000 first prize?
Yeah.
How many entries did you get?
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. Yeah.
How much was the entry cost?
It was $30 to enter.
Wow.
And we had a panel of judges, and then we had a different, blind judge. The final judges were like Wayne Kirkpatrick and Buddy Green and Gordon Kennedy, and and all the big producers, and would do the final judging. So we didn't have any control over who won, but we found, there are some unbelievable songwriters out there who are just like you guys. They're just banging it out somewhere and getting a good demo or just a guitar vocal. We found a doctor in San Diego. He's a doctor, almost retired, who just does this amazing Americana slide guitar stuff that's just greasy and cool. And then one of the kids is a pop guy, 21. He, very slick kind of pop music, but produces it, writes it all, sings it all. There's some wonderful songwriters out there.
Wow. So how do you get so many entries? How do you advertise that deal?
Well, I don't know. We had a PR company and some marketing people doing that, trying to target songwriters who are around CD Baby and, go into the circles where songwriters are. And a lot of the songwriting contests, the USA, they give a $25,000 first prize and $25,000 of gear that you don't need. And everybody else gets gear that's donated by somebody, right? But we did mostly cash. Third prize, we did a ukulele because we wanted people to write more songs. So you got a nice we gave away ukuleles for third place.
Do you still do this contest?
No, we're gearing up to do one next year. Well, later this year. Yeah. It'll be our third.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. And the other question I had, what was the name of that big thick book? You had a big thick book.
That's the compilation of Songwriters on Songwriting by Paul Zolo.
Songwriters on Songwriting.
Yeah. So he did 2 or 3 of these thin ones. This has about 30 songwriters in it. This one, oh my gosh, this one has everyone he's interviewed is in here. And it's literally 723 pages long.
That'd be an interesting.
As I recall, I've heard him in interviews talking about his interviewing different artists and different songwriters, and it was intriguing just listening to him talk about them.
Yeah, can imagine he has been with the best songwriters in the world, one-on-one.
Really? That'll make you either want to be a songwriter or not.
Well, yeah, you have to get over being intimidated. You know, you have to. Gary Chapman, who's Amy Grant's first husband, he produced my third record in the basement of their house, their country home, and he said, you just gotta find your own voice. And the way you do that, instead of everybody pitching me songs, they wanted me to record their songs. He said, you write the songs. Let's record what you write that comes from you. That's how an artist and a songwriter finds their voice. So, it is. Nashville it's an intimidating place, but it's also incredibly inspiring because when you co-write with somebody who's really good, you get better, right? Like I've co-written with Wayne Kirkpatrick, who's, he's in the Nashville Songwriter Hall of Fame. Just an amazing writer and very meticulous. If he had a song set in verse, chorus, and he had the melody, and we'd be trying to finish a lyric, and I would try to add one syllable to the end of a phrase. He'd go, no, that the melody's got to stay in there.
That's me.
So he was very precise about what the melody did, that's what you do in Broadway music, right? It's got to be real precise and rhythmic, and it's got to rhyme right, and it's got to mean right. So you just, when you write with really good writers, you get better.
Billy.
Yes, sir.
Les Dawson. What are your thoughts about someone like me who has absolutely no musical skills, but can't suppress the urge to write lyrics?
Well, you got to you got to team up with somebody who's musical. You got to find somebody who resonates with that and, send them a lyric and say, I'm open to a few changes, but I've really honed this. And if you can stick to this, it's great. But then give them a little leeway in melodically. And this is my main thing with co-writing. Don't let someone write the whole song. Have them play you their idea so you can say, no, I don't think that's the direction before they write the whole thing. And then it's harder to say, no, that's not working. That's not working. That's not working for me. I'm sorry. You
Very
spent,
true. All right. I appreciate it.
Hey, did Shane McAnally workshop that musical in Nashville? Shucks. I just heard they got to Broadway with it today.
Which one?
Shane McAnally, Shucks.
Oh yeah. There's a show called Shucks going to Broadway, I think.
Yeah. Did they workshop it in Nashville or?
I think they did. Yeah.
I guess you didn't see it. You didn't see it?
No, I haven't seen it.
Curious.
I heard about it.
Yeah.
Any other questions? I like your idea about starting with the music. I mean, like a chord progression. That's how I like to write. And I have no idea what it's going to be, but if you have a framework in mind, you just start filling in the blanks.
That's right. That's right. And changing instruments. I got a ukulele some years ago, and I've actually bought my kids ukuleles. And I was in a songwriting class at David Lipscomb University, and a lady, she had this wonderful little poem that I said, boy, that sounds like, it's called Slumberland. I said, it sounds like a lullaby. And she said, will you help me finish it? And I said, yeah, I was pretty attracted to it. And so I wrote it on ukulele because it was a very tender little thing. And my daughter sang it in the studio, and we did it with ukulele and just a few instruments. And this week, her name is Connie, her husband passed 2 days ago, and she contacted me yesterday and she said, I was playing this lullaby for Al when he passed. I was playing the recording. And it's all about going to sleep and go ahead and slumber. And it was just sweet and sad. And, you know, you don't know what a song is going to be used for, but that came from a poem that I needed to match the music to. And it obviously felt like, it sounds like that's going to be a lullaby. You're trying to get a kid to go to sleep and not read to him anymore, you know, no more stories we'll read in the morning kind of thing. The direction was obvious, but I wrote it on ukulele, and I don't think I would have found the same thing on guitar.
No, that's interesting. You know, I occasionally will try other tunings and so on, but you know, I'm pretty accomplished guitar player, and I tend to find everything that I need using like standard tunings or like a drop D or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But every time I try something, I'm very impatient because I can't, if I play in a tuning that I've never played in before, I get pretty frustrated pretty quickly because I know that all I have to do is tune that thing back up and I can rock it. So I tend not to do that very much.
Right,
but
right.
I also, I tend to write music first and then lyrics. And basically what happens with me is I will have a complete structure, the whole song, the groove, the chorus, everything. I can map out the whole thing. And the only thing I may have is a hook line or a title or like a finishing phrase or something. And usually that's where the song comes from, the idea for the subject matter of the song. The music has told me what it's going to be, and it tells me what the rhythm is going to be for the hook. Once I have the hook, and then everything else builds out from there.
Right.
That seems to work for me, but you know, every time I won't say I've not done it the other way where it's like, you know, it's that common thing where it's, do you write lyrics first or music first? And the answer is yeah.
Yes.
So,
yeah,
but for the most part, I'm usually more of a music first kind of guy, but I'm doing music first based on, I've already got one little hook line, and then off to the guitar I go.
Yeah, and that's what Paul Simon, later in the interview, he says, I tend to, if I get this one line and then another line, if I get three lines, he says, determines a direction. And I'm not sure how they even connect yet.
Yep.
But they fit in the melody right here in the second.
I think I've heard that from him before.
Yeah.
So.
And then he said, but three lines determines a direction, not necessarily the whole meaning yet, but there's a direction. And then his lyrics are just so clever and colorful. And he goes back and forth between very fanciful poetic images and then just plain speak conversation lines.
It makes you wonder how he ever came up with anything like American Tune.
I know.
Jeez.
Well, and he's a very cerebral guy, but he's a feel guy.
Mm-hmm.
The feel of his songs are amazing.
Yes.
I got something I wanted to share with you. You're talking about SAG and AFTRA.
Right.
I got this week a 26-cent check.
Yeah.
The best one yet. And you can't cash it. You got to go inside the bank to cash a check under $1.
Yeah.
But I wanted to say something about sort of my first big writing gig. Went on the road with a band, and all the songs I got before I went on the road were already done musically. Really intricate stuff, 80s stuff. very precise, and I was subjected to put a hook, lyrics and melody to it. And that was the hardest writing I ever did. And man, it sure opened up a thing. But I try to tell people, I try to write on an instrument I don't play well. Because I can always find it on guitar. You know, I can find any style of guitar, I'll be there. But if I'm working on people's songs, which I do daily, I like to like do it on piano, or if it's somebody gives me a piano song, I'll do it on guitar.
Yeah.
And I find that my mind finds that what's there, and it's not my fingers finding, you know, and it really, to me, it lends a better perspective to songwriting.
And once the melody and everything is set, say you've got your verse and a chorus, you know, the rest of it really is, it's like a crossword puzzle. You know, this has got to be an A-B rhyme right here. And then it goes to the B section of the verse, and it's got to be a C, you know, a quick internal pop rhyme. And so then it's just a matter of it's a verbal Rubik's cube to see what fits and what feels good and sings good in the mouth, you know?
Yeah. But staying away from total familiarity, I think, always keeps your mind more open to writing in general.
Yeah. And I don't know how, and maybe what Bob Dylan said about writing from the unconscious mind. I mean, a lot of the guys that we admired, you know, they got unconscious using drugs and you know, getting high, but you know, the Beatles talk about that, you know, riding high as opposed to riding not high. And they were just such masterful, great singers and players. They had a lot of facility on their instruments, and but they kept this playfulness to what they did. That's why their songs are so diverse.
Yeah.
You know, you get a parking ticket from a meter maid and you write a song, Lovely Rita Meter Maid.
Keeping it fresh.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Got a hole in the roof?
That's right. Woke up, got out of bed, dragged a comb across my head. I could have written that, especially when I had more hair.
I've got a whole musical about a hole in the roof. It's called Judge Julie Truly in the Case of the Holy Roof. And there's like 13 songs, and it's 200 pages of dialogue all about a hole in the roof.
Wow.
And it's I think it's been played to about 10 million people. So it's doing pretty good. It's Christian kids musical.
It may be a metaphor now for the ozone or the moral collapse of our country. Who knows?
Could be. It was about, you know, Zaki when they lowered the paraplegic down.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Hole in
And
the
the guy who owned the house, who loved his roof, goes to court and sues. And there's about, you know, 200 kids in average production. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, the after story. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Billy, you have been a great speaker for us tonight. We've really enjoyed it. I thank you so much.
You bet. You bet.
I want to give you a big hand.
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much. We're gonna move on to our song critique part of the meeting. And Billy, if you'd like to stick around, if you can,
Love to.
maybe give some comments on some of these songs. We've got our experts, Barbie McMillan and Joe Milton, the famous Joe Milton.
What's your contact?
What?
Who, me?
You. I know Mike.
You can contact me at billyscoop@gmail.com, like ice cream scoop.
Of course.
Can you remember that? billyscoop@gmail.com.
I can remember that.
Yeah.
So what do we got, Barbie?
So anyway, why don't you take it away, Barbie, and tell us what we've got here to listen to.
Okay, we've got, hey, is Wayne on with us? Wayne Gathright? Gothright?
Yeah, Gathright. I'm here.
Oh, good. Okay, I didn't see you. I looked for you. There's a lot of people on tonight.
Yeah, on my screen, I'm right next to you, but I guess it's not the same.
Not me. Oh, I see you now. You're over here. Okay. So we've got, find your deal. The first song tonight is Wayne's, and it is. Oh, I'm gonna have to share my screen. It's called "Save Me" is the title.
Well, here I
Wasn't supposed to start right off the bat.
Is this recorded or live?
It's recorded.
Okay.
Do we have a lyric sheet?
Oh, excellent.
It's the lyric. That's the deal. Okay.
Well, here I am, feeling like I'm on the ledge again. One voice says quit, one voice says fight. I just want this to end. Will you catch my fall? Do you care at all? Do you hear me calling? If you hear my words tonight, I'm praying you see. Look at me tonight, I'm reaching for you. If you speak, talk to me tonight, I'm listening. If you touch, take my hand tonight, I'm ready. This heavy weight has held me down since long ago. I've tempted fate, I'm ready now to take the other road. Is this the way? Where will it take me? Is it too late? If you hear my words tonight, I'm praying you see. Look at me tonight, I'm reaching for you. If you speak, talk to me tonight, I'm listening. If you touch, take my hand tonight, I'm ready. Save me, save me, touch me tonight, save me, touch me tonight, save me, save me. If you hear my words tonight, I'm praying you see. Look at me tonight, I'm reaching for you. If you speak, talk to me tonight, I'm listening. If you touch, take my hand tonight, I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Cool.
Excellent. excellent. I mean, I really like the groove on that song. It reminded me of a Beatles song, I think, or something similar to that.
I'm a huge Beatle fan.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, it's Beatles meets Tom Petty kind of thing. It's very cool. I think you buried your hook too far in the chorus. As I was playing, G, A minor, C, D thing, I wanted it to be more emotional. I wanted you to at the top say "Save me" from the da 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 da. I'm begging, save me. It didn't get emotional enough for me in the chorus. If you ramp up to the, because Tom Petty would have gone, save me from myself, just save me. I think you buried your hook too deep in the chorus.
Well, actually, he doesn't even say that. You see it, but he didn't actually sing it. In that first chorus and the second chorus, it says "save me" in the lyric, but he didn't sing that. He's saying "I'm ready."
Yeah, for that exact reason, I changed the lyrics to "Save Me," but I had already recorded it, so it says "I'm ready."
Yeah.
Right.
Instead.
Well, multi-track, I mean, you can go back and I don't feel like my songs are finished until, they're finished. You can keep, even in Paul Simon's interview, the guy says, you wrote 2 songs called Think Too Much. And he said, yeah, I wrote one intellectually and then I went back and rewrote the whole song emotionally. And it's 2 different songs.
Yeah, I finally was relieved when I heard the "Save Me" in the bridge, and then after the second chorus, he's saying "I'm ready," and then you heard "Save me," and then
Right.
"Save me, touch me tonight, save me," and that's really where you got the emotion part of it in the bridge.
So I got a comment.
Of course you do.
Of course I do. To me, the whole thing is just too square, too blocked off. There's a lot of things you could do. I thought you should have left off the last line of, you call it the pre-hook or the end of the verse. Will you catch my fall? Do you care at all? And man, you come crashed into the chorus. But when you do that last line, do you hear me calling? You lost me. I mean, I was like bored at that point. I wanted to hear it go into the chorus. And if you hear my words tonight, and I'm praying, I thought you could do some cool stuff, take some beats out of there and do some overlap, or have less time between. If you hear my words tonight, I'm praying. So predictable. I just thought you could hear my words tonight, I'm praying, da da da. There's so much more emotional, so much more energy you could get out of that chorus with the same words by not just doing that block timing. See me, look at me tonight, I'm reaching for you. If you speak to me tonight, I'm listening. Got up, the little instrumental hook in there. But instead of, if you hear my words tonight, 1, 2, 3, I'm praying. I kind of like, that kind of turned me off.
So treat that at the end of each line in the chorus as a background vocal and move it forward a little.
Yeah, you could even overlap them or just do a different rhythm on each one that's really special. And you'd grab a whole many, to me, a lot more listeners and just a lot more, there'd be a lot more energy in there if emotion in there, if you did something like that. Anyhow, for what it's worth.
Well, but I really like the chord in the last line of the verse is really fresh. The first chord makes a great turn to set up the, whether the channel or a B section to set up the chorus. But I wanted the chorus to be more desperate. Save me.
I think if you did cut out some of that time, it would become a little more desperate too.
Yeah.
Every one of those lines, I'm praying, I'm reaching for you, they were just really B flat. And if you did something with each one of them rhythmically, they could just be more exciting. But nice song. I liked it. Who's playing bass?
I played all the parts on it.
Nice bass playing, man. Are you a bass player? You must be.
My main instrument is lead guitar, but yeah, I love to play bass. That's one of my favorite instruments.
I thought the bass really stood out. Anyhow, good song.
Yeah, it's
Talented. Very
cool
good.
feel.
Thank you.
An
Appreciate it.
excellent sound and recording too. Okay, let's get to Seth. And This song is called We're Here for the Ones We Love.
The question is foundational for philosophers and fools. Why are we here anyway? Perspectives are extensive because we're apprehensive. But I've learned a simple answer, so I say, we're here for the ones we love. They are all that really matters, to hold them close when thunder gathers and threats come from up above. We're here for the ones we love. We're here for the ones we love. That kind of connection is the only answer when positive tests come back for cancer. When push it comes to shove, we're here for the ones we love. We're not here to be famous. Fame can never last. Love is the only way to save us if we hold each other fast. We're here for the ones we love, the source of joy through bitter sadness, even during painful madness, bringing hope like Noah's dove. We're here for the ones we love. We're here for the ones we love. We're here for the ones we love.
All right, Seth. All right, you've chosen that form again, like the AABA form, but then you've got an intro there, section at the beginning, and you've got your hook there at the beginning and first and last line of each one of those verses, with a little bridge there after the second verse. And you're getting better. Your demos are getting better, Seth. It's better and better. You got some kind of processing thing on your voice, it sounded like, a little bit, and then you calm down. You've got all your instruments playing together. Pretty good.
That's supposed to make my voice sound warm, close quote. So.
Oh, is that right? Well, it did. It sounded better. That's the best I've heard your voice sound on a recording. So good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, it did sound good, Seth.
So guys, what's your comments, Joe? And
I liked it. I mean, I would have just had one guitar playing the solo.
Yeah, I know. I realized that. Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking.
It seems like you had one extra line before you came out of the solo. Seemed like you needed to drop the vocals in a couple of beats early. I thought it was nice. I'd love to produce it, man. You know, I mean, I think you could get that song. You know, there's a lot of places that use songs like this. I mean, including like Cancer Foundation, a lot of places, veterans. You know, it's a very heartfelt message. Works well for me.
Yeah,
We could do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, the tone of the music really matches your lyric. It's that, it put me in mind of the crooner, Frank Sinatra crooner kind of thing. And your hook is, of course, excellent. We're here for the ones we love. But I think your lyrics a little heady in the big word usage, and your melody is undercooked for a crooning thing. I think there needs to be a little bit massaging the melody more to make it more singable, more classic. Because your chord structure and the warmth of the major sevens and they're using is really appropriate to the tone. But I think your melody is a little undercooked and the words are a little heady, big.
I think those are good suggestions. It might be hard for Seth. He's so intelligent to really dumb those words down, though.
I just like the extensive and apprehensive. I thought that was
Get stoned and rewrite it.
Well, no, I think
I'm glad you didn't use a banjo on it.
those are rhymes Sinatra would do, of course. Apprehensive.
He would be pensive.
Yes.
Just 2 cents worth in on this, that I think that if you had it produced, and Seth has his own very unique voice, but if you want that for like a Sinatra type voice, if you had somebody who had that kind of voice, they could do this, and a lot of what seems undercooked maybe wouldn't be.
That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a nice way of saying someone who can actually sing. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
no, if I meant that, I would have said it.
No, thank you. We're a friend. I appreciate that.
If I was producing this song, and I'm not sure about this, but I don't know if I agree. I think I might use you.
Huh.
I think if everything was a little more organized and you were coming in to something that was just a little more musically just defined, I think I would maybe use your voice, and whatever, I think it would find the rest of its way. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, let's try it. That sounds interesting. That sounds like
hire the other guy.
Joe, I agree with you. It would, one or the other would be a great treatment for it.
But I mean, he's got a certain emotion.
Absolutely.
That, or a matter of factness almost, that you might be a little hard to find to sing this song. Anyhow, good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
I like it a lot.
Okay, now we have Keith Dodson, and this is Cinco de Mayo. I like this song.
Today I dropped off a load of steel in the Gulf Coast town of Mobile. In Morgan City I could pick up a load that I could take back to San Diego, where Maria is waiting for me for a fiesta down by the sea. Oh, but then things started to wind after I crossed the Louisiana state line. It's almost Cinco de Mayo, but I'm stuck here on the bayou because my truck broke down just 5 miles south of the town of Thibodeau. Now I just need me some dinero to get to me a more primero, or she'll spend Cinco de Mayo with some other guy or compañero. I had my rig towed in for repair, and what they told me there made me despair. They wanted $700 to start, another 1,500 gold parts, but I only have 200 in hand. I've got to come up with another $2,000, and the banks are closed for the day. I gotta find another way to pay. It's almost Cinco de Mayo, but I'm stuck here on the bayou because my truck broke down just 5 miles south of the town of Thibodeau. Now I just need me some dinero to get to me amor primero. Or she'll spend Cinco de Mayo with some other gallo compañero. Oh, how I miss my Maria's embrace and the smile on her beautiful face. We'd share tamales with her abuela that she made with her tia Consuela. Instead I sit in this local cafe where I'm eating some cold etouffee, listening to a Cajun radio station. Can't match a Mexican celebration. Now it's Cinco de Mayo and I'm still stuck here on the bayou because my truck broke down just 5 miles south of the town of Tibidabo. Now I ain't got enough dinero, can't get to me amor primero. She's spending Cinco de Mayo with some other gallo compañero. Yeah, she's spending Cinco de Mayo with some other gallo bandolero.
Very cool. Makes me want to drink a long neck.
Makes me want to mix a
Dos
margarita with a
Equis
pina colada.
or Dos Equis or something like that.
I had a lot
I
of
like
good
the
times
song.
in Thibodeau. I know that.
I've heard this a lot. I really like it, you know.
It's, you know what though? It's fun, but it's so much like pieces of other songs that, I mean, it's cool, but I mean, but it's not really a satire.
Well,
But I think if you
safe,
try to put
though,
this out, you're going to
because-
run into a lot of problems with.
He's safe because it's not a Marvin Gaye song, so he won't get sued.
I thought Van Morrison had sued him. Well, we had that conversation once. I mean, he rips off Closer. I thought the Van Morrison ripoff was a lot closer than the Marvin Gaye. But I think, I mean, it's a nice, you know, fun song, but I don't think you could really put it out because you would have too many problems with if you like pina coladas and then the intro of a Margaritaville.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just a lot of other stuff, but it's a cool lyric. It's fun. Plus,
Yeah, it's pretty
Thibodeau's a
radical.
party in town, man.
It is. Now, did you scroll back up? Did you have 3 verses?
Yes.
Yeah, I may not need 3 verses. It may just need a solo and back into the chorus. I don't know which one I would lose, but and I maybe get a more clever ending verbally to the verses. They seem to lay there, but it's in that style. I think I can understand that you're borrowing a genre, a type of song, but the chorus really hangs together for me very well.
Put a squeeze box on there.
Absolutely.
Well, it's, you know, it's I'm kind of combining Mexican American with Cajun culture here, so I kind of thought of a mashup of the Texas Tornadoes with Beaujolais.
If you put a squeeze box on there, it wouldn't sound like Margaritaville or the other drink.
And that would cover both Cajun and Tex-Mex.
Right. You get Flaco Jimenez and Jimmy Bro to do it. So
Yeah. All right.
thank you.
He's contending for Songwriter of the Year this year. He's entering one every. And so is Troy and Steve Ledford. I mean, they're working on it hard.
Right. How
And
many
Sam,
songs? How many songs you done, Steve?
Two for tonight.
No, I mean he's done like in 2 years. He's done like 60, from 0 to 60 or 50 songs in 2 years.
My goodness.
With you at your studio?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
They say you're a singer of sad songs. You live them in your dreams. Please tell me your story. to bleed red and blue. I understand. I sing sad songs too. I'm a singer of sad songs. I guess I'm a lot like you. Lived all my life and suffered through strife, always in some shade of blue. When I sing of heartbreak, I feel the heartache. The sadness always shows through. I'm not a stranger to sad stories. I sing sad songs too. They say you drink lots of whiskey. I drink lots of whiskey too. It helps when I cry down deep inside, when all the world turns blue. And when you're lonely, remember I'll be here for you. We're kindred spirits, you and I sing sad songs too. I'm a singer of sad songs. I guess I'm a lot like you. I've lived all my life and suffered through strife, always in some shade of blue. When I sing of heartbreak, I feel the heartache. The sadness always shows through. I'm not a stranger to sad stories. I sing sad songs too. There must be a heaven for singers of sad songs. No pain, no heartaches, no tears. But it takes a lifetime of sadness to get there, and a million sad songs that we sing through the years. I'm a singer of sad songs. I guess I'm a lot like you. I've lived all my life and suffered through strife, always in some shade of blue. When I sing of heartbreak, I feel the heartache. The sadness always shows through. I'm not a stranger to sad stories. I sing sad songs too. I'm not a stranger to sad stories. I sing sad songs too.
All right, cool song.
Yeah.
You know, you've got this little
I don't
inside
think so.
rhyme.
Not mine.
Maybe after supper I do.
Okay.
Got this little inside rhyme on the second
Okay,
line of
sleep
the
tight.
second verse. It helps when I cry deep down inside. It'd be cool if you had that same kind of little inside rhyme at the second line of the first verse.
Yeah, I agree.
That would be cool. You know, I just, you know, this is a cool song, but it doesn't make me sad. I don't know. I mean, you know, it's just, there's something about either the tempo or maybe it's the hook. When the hook comes around, you just kind of throw it away with the melody. It's not really, you're not really making it stand out or something. I don't know.
What is that? Prosody? What's that word?
Prosody.
Prosody. Yeah, the music doesn't
Doesn't fit
match the words just right.
Yeah, I think there's some syllable trimming you could do, like even little things when you say, where's the I'm not a stranger. I'm not a stranger to sad songs. You know, if you just simply say I'm no stranger to sad songs, it would sing smoother. If too many syllables in some of your melodic lines, I think would streamline it. You know what I mean?
Totally agree.
I think the part for me that I want to change is in the chorus, like the second and third lines. Instead of telling us that you suffered through strife or heartbreak, just give us some of that strife and heartbreak. Like Barbie said, you know, it's like, I don't feel it. You're telling me about it. You know, show me some.
Show us instead of tell us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what if he's trying to cheer this person up?
Doesn't sound like it.
I don't know. He's trying to, you know, be a compadre and but,
Mhm.
but maybe he's trying to be more positive.
Even still, I would, it's like there's a way to convey the same meaning of those lines, but just in a way that really grabs you. Not to, it has to make you, yeah.
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 Mm.
Yeah, it's a good song, but there's so many things that could be better about it, I think.
Yeah. I'm almost wondering if you need to redo the, instead of I sing sad songs too, what is it that sad songs do for us? I love the Elton John thing, sad songs. Sometimes we just need a sad song. We need somebody to sing a sad, I'll sing a sad song with you. I know that because I know that's where you're now. I'll sing a sad song with you,
Yeah, and then to say with you makes it more personal.
Yeah.
Definitely more conversational.
Yeah.
Is this just like the piano man who's singing in front of a bunch of people and he's trying to relate to them? Or is this somebody who's like trying to pick somebody up?
Right.
That's what I can't figure out,
I don't think only Steve can answer that.
Right. I'm just asking the question.
Right.
And I don't think he's
Is
got,
Steve talking? Is your mic on, Steve?
he couldn't talk earlier, so I don't think he can talk. I think his microphone is not working for him.
Sometimes if you turn it off and turn it on again, that works.
Yeah. And then did anybody else feel like the chorus went so sophisticated chord-wise? It is like Jimmy Webb walked into the room and did this orchestral turn, because it was pretty complex compared to the rest of the song.
Yeah,
Well,
the
there are all
chord
these
progressions were
runs in there,
very,
that was
very
it.
sophisticated.
Yeah.
But I would challenge you to write a different progression on that melody.
Yeah.
No, that's not a bad thing, but it's just,
No,
I'm just saying the melody was pretty complex.
yeah.
But you can't. So Steve, you can't get your mic to work.
He couldn't when I had to go over to the other room and get him, the other Zoom room. It wasn't working over there, so it
Yeah.
probably his setting inside the microphone setting. He's got something turned off. He doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
We love you, Steve.
We need to recruit a lip reader.
I know, that's what I said. I said,
Right.
I'm sorry,
I used
Steve,
to
I'm not a lip
with the sign
reader.
language.
There is a chat you can use, Steve.
Yeah.
You can type fast. You can chat it out. Otherwise, we're probably going to need to go ahead and move on.
Yeah, I hear it even in the bridge. If you change it to things like there'll be no sad songs in heaven, but we're not in heaven yet. So this is where we are. So I'm going to sing this sad song with you, but make it rhyme, of course.
Yeah. So it's a good, it's a good song, but it just really you could take it another level higher than what you've got.
Well, I think the prosody is an issue. It's too upbeat a song for the topic, is the way I felt.
Okay, let's get to the next one. Because Steve's got 2 songs, but we got a couple in between. Maybe by the time we get to his next song, he'll figure out the microphone thing.
Hey, by the way, both of these are myself and Alexis, our first of our collaborations.
Oh, good.
Very nice.
You mean Alexis, the AI Alexis?
No, Alexis,
Alexa.
our girlfriend, Alexis Tab.
Our very own.
morning storm, feeling calm and no alarm, breathing sky while sun's still warm, no worries over what might harm, rain and hail leave the world refreshed, sun peeks through clouds to the west, Gaelic song slips from my lips, imagine this perfect bliss. What a day to feel God's peace. No expectations, I just breathe. All I hear and all I see, reminding me to feel God's peace. Folklore open in my lap, a red half, I need a nap. Guitar rest, but crazy cat has none of that. Expect a mishap, think I'll have some coffee now. Let clouds roll by and show me how easy God moves them around. Yeah, he should take a bow. What a day to feel God's peace. No expectations, I'll just breathe. All I hear and all I see, reminding me to feel God's peace. To feel God's peace. Da 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 da. New storms come in with ever-changing winds, but it will be so sweet if perfect peace would never end. What a day to feel God's peace. No expectations, I'll just breathe. All I hear and all I see, reminding me to feel God's peace. To feel God's peace.
Very cool, man. You hooked me with the feel.
Nice song. You know, I have one suggestion, and that is when you get to the bridge, there's, if you could have a little bit more contrast on your first line, and I mean contrast with the meter of the lyric. By just because this line is a little bit more ominous, you know, so you could do like new storms come with ever-changing winds, and go on with your little, what, you know, and then get back to the rest of what the song was about. Bring yourself back to.
Yeah, I like that. I like that, like 8 notes and then go more syncopated or triplets on the last line.
Yeah, just to longer notes.
Longer notes, because you've got nice cadence to all your chorus and your verses. And like if you got rid of the word new, storms coming with ever-changing winds, you know, give it some space.
Yeah, cool.
You know what I mean? Wouldn't it be sweet? The perfect peace would never end. And then you're off again.
Cool. Great ideas.
And I love verse 4. The whimsy of that verse really matches the feel. I love that.
That's Alexis.
He should take a bow. I love that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, very good.
It just the lyric matches the music is very cool.
No comments from the peanut gallery, Jeff?
Yeah, I agree that that music was a good match with the words.
Joe, are you still with us?
I would just say on outside of what she said about the bridge, I mean, when you get there, it doesn't sound any different. No matter what you do, something's got to set it apart. But when you hit I Just Breathe, you go back to the 1 there.
In the chorus?
Yeah, I would repeat the same chord progression from the first line to the second line, because when you hit that 1, it kind of fell apart for me. If you just repeated the same chords from What a Day to Feel God's Peace, No Expectation, I Just Breathe, I think it would flow a lot better. When you hit that 1, it just sounded like it was ending on I Just Breathe.
So go up instead of down?
No, he's talking about.
I mean the chords.
So
You got a 2 minor to a 2 minor to a 5, so something, and then to a 1 on I Just Breathe. And I would just repeat the same chords of the first line of the chorus and the second line of the chorus. I think it would flow a whole lot better, because when you hit the 1 on I Just Breathe, to me it stops. It just quits moving. And anyhow, just a thought.
We like
cool stuff.
Yeah, that felt really good.
It did. I really like it.
I felt more peaceful.
Yeah. Good job, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we got another Troy song.
How many we got tonight?
We've got 3 more left.
Okay.
So let's see.
This is also with Alexis. Well, you'll hear her voice on this one.
Oh, I've heard this.
Your voice floats by, it's haunting me. I dream your smile in all its ease, and lie beneath your favorite fleece, where you left me unraveling. Loose thread, break seams, guess I should have seen. Unraveling right where we slept. Is our love dead or just loose thread? Rips and the snags need mending more. Remember when our hearts were torn? I'm unraveling. A few bare spots, some edges fray. This blanket's seen some better days. Bring the needle to my thread, where I'm unraveling instead. My heart's in knots just like old thread, as Centerview hangs in the wool. Blanket lays cold on our bed, thimble push and needle pull. Guess I really should have seen. Unraveling right where we slept. Is our love dead or just loose thread? Rips and snags need mending more. Remember when our hearts were torn? I'm unraveling. No, 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 no.
I have a question. Are the choruses the same exactly musically?
Yeah, the chord progressions and all that are the same. Yep.
Somehow when he hit the first chorus, it sounded like it went not with the words. I love the words, but the chords didn't come out. And then the second time, it just sounded different. I don't know.
In the chorus itself?
Yeah, and then coming into the first chorus, it sounded like we're going to a different song the first time. Like it was like.
Well,
the second time coming into the chorus, it didn't sound like that to me.
It didn't do the. It did the bridge after verse 2. It didn't go into the chorus. It got.
So maybe what I'm saying is that, well, yeah, I get where the bridge was, but the first chorus just sounded out of place, but then the second chorus didn't. But cool words. I like the concept.
Yeah, it's who's singing?
That's Alexis.
Man, that's beautifully painful. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, you really delivered it well. That's very cool. Jazzy kind of chords to support that unraveling thing. And I like the bridge was really odd, but I think you're trying to express a really odd, disorienting feeling. That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we knew that was a bit of an adventure, so I was really curious what people were going to think about the bridge.
Like going to Les Mis.
So if you went back to the first pre-chorus and chorus after the second verse, would that make the song too long?
I don't know.
I don't know. It flows pretty good. You know.
Yeah, and I had one place where a tripwire went off in me when in the bridge. When I hear the word wool and pull, I felt like wool was a word put in there for rhyme, and I'm not sure. As scent of you hangs in the wool.
We're talking about a blanket.
Yeah.
On our feet.
Yeah, it just felt a little
contrived.
Yeah, the rhyme felt a little forced with wool and pull.
Put bull in there. Hangs in the bull.
I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure what I would do to fix that, but I could look at it.
Well, you could do an AA rhyme. And the scent of you hangs in the, with thread. My heart's in knots just like old thread. Scent of you hangs in our bed. Blankets lay cold and steel bed, and do an AABB.
Well, the reason I didn't do an AABB was because my verses were AABB.
Well, I don't think that matters. You just do what works, but it may not be hangs in the bed, but hangs in in my clothes or in my,
Well, it could hang in the air. I mean, it can hang.
Yeah, but it's better if it's in fabric, because that's what the metaphor is.
Flow.
Plus, could you go back to the first verse?
Yeah.
So, I don't know about putting this out as a song, but as a movie producer, everything's so on. Everything's, about, I know it's about fabric and I get all the meaning, but at some point, I want to hear a line that departs from fabric.
Yeah.
Or those kind of rhymes. It could happen in the bridge, but it's got your verse is about that, your pre-chorus is about that. Everything is the same thing. And it seems like it needs someplace. I guess it could be the bridge. Musically, I love where you went with the bridge, the kind of almost graveyard kind of thing. But it seems like you just need to get away from that same subject matter and find something that, corresponds with the story, but is some kind of a result of the fabric as just more fabric and more fabric. And then as it goes on and there's more cool things about fabric, it gets a little kind of one dimensional.
Yeah, you overwork the metaphor, but it really does feel like a movie song, a scene in a bar where the woman is singing over in the corner about this, I'm unraveling, and that's what's happening to the characters as well.
But the thing, what I meant about the movies, when they tell you to write a song about fabric or about the scene about the fabric, and you write all about fabric, they won't buy it. They always want something that relates to it, but isn't just on all the time. And I've run into that. I've had at least 50 songs tossed, for that reason. But then I've also had 50 songs used by doing something that's relates to the subject as opposed to just is the subject.
So are you kind of saying, like, if I was going to use the bridge, but my heart's in knots, but not bring up the thread and not bring up the wool?
Maybe the hearts and knots like a noose. No, that's what I mean. And the wool, that's a bit.
You could
blankets lays cold on her. I mean, some of it's cool, but thimble push and needle pull, it's just all the same thing.
Yeah.
And it's just you to find some different point of view to express the same thing that relates to the fabric, but just not more thread and wool and needles.
I can see that.
I agree.
You get some drugs in there, though. That just add some needles.
It should be as simple as.
That's called beating the metaphor to death.
The bridge should be as simple as my heart's in knots as the scent of you hangs on our bed.
Mm. Or hangs over the bed even. So.
You could have a dream catcher.
That would give a contrast in the structure. It wouldn't be another 4 lines, it'd be, and then it could be more climactical. Another little tweak, and Alexis, you'll come to tweak these the more you sing this. You'll figure out little tweaks here and there. Just guess I should have seen them unraveling. We've got your pre-chorus, and then you could sing, guess I should have seen them unraveling.
Yeah, I like that transition.
So it just leads right into the chorus.
Seen them?
Seen them, or them meaning the seams.
Oh, I got
Loose thread.
Or it meaning the thread.
Yeah, it could be it. I would say unraveling.
If you went, guess I could have seen them unraveling, could stand on its own.
Right.
And
right.
Go into the rest of the stuff.
And then
you also got one, but I'm sure you'll figure that out. There's one major note you sang over a minor chord, which I'm sure, when you go into to do a final recording, you'll not do that. But you got to watch that.
But I like to do that. I'm prone to do that.
Well, I mean, sometimes it's cool and sometimes
it's annoying.
Okay. Well, not annoying, just it sounds kind of wrong. There was just one note.
So this is not a post-chorus, it's just another line in your chorus. And you also use it down here at the bottom, so it still holds,
Yeah.
Okay, so I got a question though on, let me bring it back up. Leave where you were just a minute ago. So if I was working on that line where you left me, wait, where's the thing where it goes into unravel? Oh, guess I should have seen them unraveling. The reason I didn't do that, Barbie, was because I wrote those lyrics from a phrase that Troy gave me, loose threads. And so then we worked on the lyrics together, and what I was using was that the title of the song needed to be in the first line and the last line of the chorus. So if I move unraveling up into the pre-chorus, it's not in the chorus anymore.
No, it's still in the chorus.
It's still in the chorus.
And them is the last line of the pre-chorus. Guess I should have seen them, and then your chorus starts with unraveling.
And unraveling could be just a whole line on its own, or you could put silver threads and golden needles in there. But cool song.
Yes.
Yeah.
Alexis.
Very cool.
It's a good one.
Alexis.
Nice delivery.
Les Dawson.
Uh-huh.
How about a title, Threadbare Love?
That's dirty.
But Troy comes up with some interesting melodies to work with. I'll tell you that. That's
I liked his chords better than
Yeah.
yours.
Yeah, it's very.
I know, right? Y'all don't have to listen to me play the piano, which is probably should make y'all's not better anyway.
It made me want to order a White Russian.
Awesome.
Or
Hey, that sounds good.
Gibson with a twist.
There's always a train. Steve Ledford.
I hear it in the distance, rolling slow. That old 574 out of Nashville, on the rails to Ohio. Rain's pouring down, washing dreams away. I'm losing ground, and I'm leaving town today. There's always rain, there's always pain, there's always a train when I'm alone. There's always rain, there's always pain, there's always a train when a broken heart is heading home. I watch the clouds moving, rolling in, bringing the lightning and thunder and rain, and the cold winter wind. Wind's blowing through, there's a chill in the air. The train's on the move, I have no time to spare. There's always rain, there's always pain, there's always a train when I'm alone. There's always rain, there's always pain, there's always a train when a broken heart is heading home. There's nothing like a love you think will live forever. There's nothing like a love that you think will never die. I'm on a train now, wiping tears from my eyes, looking over my shoulder to see what may be the last chance for me. Oh, she's waving goodbye. Is heading home.
Cool.
Nice.
All right. I love a train song.
I have a thought, if I could, just briefly. When you go to the bridge, that might be a good place to empty out the instruments a little more, leave a lot of air, maybe just like really splashing on the ones or something, and that way it'll sound enough different from the verses.
Besides the fact that it goes to 3 from 4. I thought that was quite a switch.
I liked it. I really like the whole thing. I just think it's a great feel. And once I heard the chorus, I could sing it.
Good point.
Yeah, just about the bridge. I mean, when he brought it in and it went to 3, you know, I'm going, what the hell is that? You know, there's nothing, and I go, okay.
I didn't have a problem with that.
I didn't either. But I mean, I thought that was just a huge change. There's nothing that will never die. And then it goes back to 4. I'm on the train.
Well, I love the 3.
And I had such fun with that because then when it came time, he wanted a solo in there, and I went back to that. I went back to that same thing because I was in love with that little 3 section.
Yeah, it was very cool. Very cool.
You know, I think I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think about do you need all the theirs in the chorus? I mean, couldn't you sing like "There's always rain, always pain"?
Yeah, yeah.
Always a train when I'm alone. There's always rain, always pain, always a train when a broken heart is headed home. And
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's good. Yeah, the trimming there would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, always trying to get rid of some words here and there in every song.
There's always a damn lonely train when I'm alone.
You know, that could have a really weird sexual like innuendo there, but we won't go into that.
I like trains. I might write a train song.
Too late, Joe.
I really do like trains.
Yeah, I like that song. That's very cool.
Okay, so now we've got Michael's Roth's song, Slingshot at the Moon. Can y'all see this? And I guess he's going to play it on guitar for us.
Okay.
No, I can't play it on guitar. I could play. I've been working with a lady named Erin Michelle. She's been writing the music, and I got the pieces from her, but I don't have the whole song put together. I could play you like the first verse that she has, give you the feel of it. Would that help?
Yeah.
If I can share my screen,
Okay. You want me? Do you have the lyric on your screen?
I have the lyric too. Yeah, let me.
I can.
What are we doing? You're going to play it, or there's a recording, or?
I just have a recording. I don't have a recording of the whole song, but I can play a piece of it.
So you're in Florida, right?
Yes.
Don't take this song to New York.
Don't take it to New York.
No more propane.
Oh yeah, right.
It's a Red State song, dude.
Yeah, it definitely is. Okay, so just to give you a little feel of it, here's. Can you wait? All right, I have to share my screen first, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Be sure and click the audio box at the bottom.
Yeah, host disabled participant screen sharing.
Host disables participants?
Harry's disabled that.
There's a song in there.
Harry, you're going to have to enable that. And unmute your microphone too, Harry. Harry, unmute your microphone.
May have stepped away.
Harry.
I thought he was in a catatonic state there for a minute.
I think he is. Oh.
There he is.
He moved.
Well, when it doesn't give you the option, you can't click it. So,
yeah.
Okay. I made you a co-host. I need to do something else.
Oh, okay.
Try that now.
Do
you see the share screen button down at the bottom? It'd be green.
Yeah. Yes, I do see it. Okay.
Good.
Host disabled participant screen sharing. Okay.
I didn't disable anything.
Didn't enable it.
Well, he's a co-host. Hang on here.
I think you got to separately allow share screening.
Screen sharing. Yeah. Share screen. Nope.
I don't know. It must have been in the initial setup or
Right click
something.
on his image and see if there's a allow screen sharing for him.
If not, we could just talk about the lyric. And I mean, you know, if I tried to play it, honestly, Erin she's so good. It'd be like the Crayola version of the song on it. I'd hate to do that, but.
Well, let's look at the lyric then, but get out of technical.
Anybody hear me now?
Yeah.
I hear somebody.
Is that, oh, you can hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, Steve Ledford.
Wow.
Yay!
Hello. Hello, folks.
You got a
Do
microphone.
you know how to fix it, Steve?
I've been working on it for about 30 minutes now, and I guess it's now working. He kept saying it was okay.
Well, write it down, whatever you did, so you won't forget next time.
Okay.
Try it again, Michael.
One time he came in and his phone was broken and had been broken for a long time.
I co-hosted the wrong Michael.
Okay, that would do it.
What did you say, Joe?
Oh, I was saying Steve came over one time and his phone had been messed up for like a week and it wouldn't work and it wasn't doing anything. And I'm looking at it, like I said, I got no idea. And my daughter walked in and he handed it to her, and it was 3 seconds.
3 seconds.
And the phone was fixed, and I guess
Barb, what I had done, I had co-hosted Michael Brandenberger. I
Okay.
co-hosted the wrong Michael. That's what it was.
There we go. Now
Okay.
Yeah.
Now let me see if I can get the sound up. Whoops. I had enabled sound on there, but all of a sudden there it is. Okay. Can you hear that?
Yeah.
Every star you wish upon is burning like propane. Just when you think they might explode, the sun comes up again and brands you with the memory of the day we lost our child. And your arms are filled with the emptiness you cradled when he died.
Okay, so that's the first verse. Let me see if I can do the chorus. Yeah, I wasn't able to get where is it? There.
We're tired of the sorrow burning in our bones and the yearning of the earth that tries to claim us for its own. And your heart has wandered off, and I hope it comes back soon. When I reach for you, I miss you like a slingshot at the moon. Oh.
Alternatively,
Okay. All right. She's just talking there. So I just have this thing in bits and pieces. So anyway, you get a little bit of the idea of the feeling of what she's doing with it musically, I think.
I gotta, it's really hard to follow, but I got a couple of things.
Yeah.
That I was curious. I couldn't pick up the beat. That might just been when it came in, but I really didn't know where one was there until about the third or fourth line. Now that might have been because there was no intro or it just came in, but I'm pretty perceptive about that. And I thought when it came to like a slingshot at the moon, there's something you could do to get out of the sameness of the lines in the chorus when it gets to the end, like rhythmically or quarterly or a stop like a slingshot, something you could do to really set that hook off. because it just sounds like another line and they're all kind of the same. But you know, heavy lyrics, man. I mean, I said great, very sad story there, but I really think you need to do something in the chorus to set off the last line or the last couple of lines instead of kind of doing the same sort of rhythm coming down. It could stop and make like because I like the chord progression, Slingshot on the Moon. I can hear that thing.
Yeah.
It could just be set up, you know, with a lot more energy and maybe sadness and emotion.
Yeah.
That kind of draws it out, you know. But
maybe vocally to go high instead.
Could be, but yeah, could be vocally, but I mean also, but just something to change the rhythm there at the end.
I think it might just be a space after the word slingshot, because this is lyrically is hanging together so well, but like a slingshot.
Yeah.
At the moon.
Yeah, something.
When you can finish with a word, you've got a word like moon on the end, that just screams to say, okay, let's soar a little bit and let's really sustain that word, moon.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like a soaring song to me.
Or you could stop when I reach for you, I miss you, pump, pump, pump. Like a slingshot at the moon. Doo, 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 doo. That, I think that would do what I'm thinking about. Stop there. I'd have to hear it, you know, I'd have to go over more, but that would do it.
Yeah,
it's not a soaring song. That's a tough row to hoe, the subject matter.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, unless it's in a real specific, did that happen to her?
No, this is an imaginary song, but drawn from, you know.
It's very cool and very deep, but it's also, that's a hard one.
Yeah, I wrote the lyric.
Yeah, it's.
I just don't know. Well, I don't know. We're looking at it like a song. I just don't, you know, might leave people in a tragic place, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to write about stuff like this, you know, but there it was.
Well,
it's like our guest said, you know, there it was, man, take it.
Well, it feels like to me it needs to be. It's trying to rescue someone from a, you know, walking beside someone in a tragic place. Is I'm trying to reach across to you because the sorrow is so it's making you disappear, you know, and I can't connect with you. It's like, you know, I might as well use a slingshot at the moon. You know, I just can't connect.
Yeah.
I think that's the brilliance of it, is it's getting down deep and dirty with somebody who's hurting, and the hurt has distanced them from you, right?
It's very common in a relationship when people have a child that dies, that it breaks them apart.
Absolutely.
Almost always.
Yeah.
So I was trying to express that.
Well,
beautiful.
That's so true, and that's such a weird thing too. But I mean, the statistics on that are unbelievable. The actual reality of that is just unfathomable.
Michael, I think it's beautiful.
It is. It's again
Painfully beautiful, but beautiful.
Yes, painfully beautiful, and because you have to, you know, we're human. You have to. That's a very real place.
Yeah, she has a nice concept for the bridge too. The bridge was actually a third verse, and if I could play that a little bit, I think. Let me see if this is the right one.
Okay, so now we're going to come out of the second chorus, still doing that. And I haven't decided if we'll do once or twice. Sometimes at night when you're asleep, you moan like a midnight train. And what I did to achieve that drop down.
Okay, so and then it would repeat. Every morning brings a song with the same old sad refrain. So yeah, I had like a verse long thing, and I just, you know, together we, you know, just decided, it's like, let's cut half of this out and just keep that because I love that bridge, but I don't know how'd you guys feel about that?
Yeah, I think it heads a great place.
It brings it down to a little more, the almost conventional, sounding thing, and the train, got the train in there.
Yeah.
Every night you go to sleep, there's been a midnight train. Every morning brings a song with the same old sad refrain. You go to a different chord there and like hold it.
And then go to the chorus.
No, I meant before that, the last line of the bridge.
Oh yeah, same like sad refrain.
Is that a different chord?
A different chord, and I would leave that up to her. I don't know.
It does. It puts a kind of a relatable spin onto the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the bridge head's a great spot. I didn't hear how it comes out into the chorus. He was trying to explain that, but I don't know how it comes out of that into the chorus.
Yeah, I don't have a full second verse to do, but it would be the same feeling as the first one. I came home empty. I wish I could sing. when I went on a quest to find you where the broken spirits roam. Windmills on the Texas playing ghosts behind a fog of snow. Monster trucks dragging storms behind their heavy loads. When I came home empty-handed, your eyes were cold as stone. Sometimes at night when you're asleep, you moan like a midnight train. Like that. I don't know if you can hear that at all from what I can't sing notes.
Well, you got to finish this. It's just too beautiful not to finish.
Yeah.
All right. Well, play it for us when you get it all done.
I will. I'm sorry I couldn't get it together for you, but.
Well, hey, you got a lot of good feedback. You're ahead of the game, so there you go.
I appreciate that.
So, Michael, you might tag the end of that song.
Yeah.
You keep saying, I hope, but maybe at the end of the song, you say, please come back soon. Like
I don't know if I would do that. I think the sense that's there already.
You think that's too much? Because it's like hope. It's a step beyond hope when you ask somebody to do something, please.
Yeah, but the feeling of it is kind of like that's the problem. It's like when I try to reach you, it's like you're so far away.
Yeah.
Do that.
So Barbie, write a song called "A Step Beyond Hope."
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to hear that when it's done, Michael.
All right.
I'll send it. Okay, there's stop share. Okay, so you're all back.
Boy, we got a lot of good stuff tonight.
Was that the last one, or is there another one?
Where's Troy? There you go.
I think that's the last one.
Hey, there he is.
That's
Hey,
it.
I don't. I'm going to interrupt just for a second because of the comments that William made earlier about changing up how you write, and Paul Simon and all that about writing to music. And I have written with co-writers, and they wrote the music and I wrote the lyric, but I hadn't done a lot of it in a long time. And Troy just has a similar vibe. We kind of hear some of the same things, and he comes up with these little riffs, and it's just a whole lot of fun to put a story to that according to how it feels.
Exactly.
And so I just wanted to say I'm experiencing that, and when you were talking about it, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, because music taps a certain emotion, and then you got to decide what story to bring to that.
Mm-hmm. So thank you, Troy.
Do it all different ways. Try something new every day.
Awesome.
Well, all right. Does anybody have anything to add to all this great stuff tonight?
Thanks so much, Billy.
I got something to
Appreciate
add.
your comments.
Yeah.
I would just say, if somebody's bringing you a song every day, and they all do it different. So it's like, one day somebody comes in that plays it, sings the whole song. Somebody comes to the lyric one day. Somebody comes to the music one day. Somebody says, put the lyric to the song one day. Next day they say, put the song to the lyric. And, you know, the more you can change it up and then try to write on an instrument besides the one you play so well. Really is just keeps it fresh.
I have a comment. If anyone wants to listen, I think Billy did a better job than average as a host, pitching in and staying till the end for the song critiques.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
a lot of guys leave before we even get started. You know. So.
Well, I just love songs, and
we can tell. Yes.
I love to hear people getting their insides out, because I think there really is healing in that. And Wayne Kirkpatrick is in Greece. He just left Greece with his wife. They took a little vacation, and he was standing in Greece where, in a theater, an amphitheater, apparently where Greek theater began. And the tour guide told him there was a hospital next door because the Greeks believed that the arts were healing. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They are.
Insides out. So
And I texted him back and said, wait a minute, Wayne, haven't we always thought that? You know, we have always thought the music was a healing thing.
Yeah.
Maybe the Greeks started it, but we're continuing it.
So you know what Socrates and Plato both said?
What? Don't drink that?
Musicians, not artists so much, but musicians should be wards of the state.
I agree, totally.
That's right. That the state should support us.
They both said that coming from completely different philosophical conundrums that they were exploiting.
Well, but they were thinking this. I wouldn't want the state right now to be canceling me.
All be in the loony bin.
Right. Yeah. That's what it makes you think of. Like we'd end up.
Who's going to write Turn Your Insides
The
Out?
people at the DMV controlling music. I just.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep,
Hey, there's another song idea.
There you go.
that guy's starting to sing. You better come up and put him away.
I was on,
Sounds like one of my songs.
Everything would be in the key of meh.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be frozen through that chord progression.
I was on a crime novel Facebook page the other day, and a guy just asked, "What's your least favorite word?" He was asking everybody, and I wrote, mine's bureaucracy, because it sounds like an STD. I only slept with her once, but she gave me bureaucracy.
Must have been French.
That's right.
Hey,
That's
Billy,
right.
should I take from your ball cap that you're of Irish descent?
Yeah, and I was over there last May. My daughter, my second novel starts in northern Germany during Nazi Germany, and it's about a prodigal classical pianist, a little girl. She grows up and resettles in Ireland. So my daughter said, well, let's go do research in Ireland. So we did. And I got my St. Patrick cross in Dublin. But yeah, I'm Irish, Scottish.
You say Ireland with a little twang there.
Ireland. Yeah. And I got to play music in a pub with 5 musicians till 2 a.m.
That's great.
Awesome.
Barbie and I visited Ireland a few years ago. Man, that is a beautiful country.
It is.
We drove across from Dublin to what is that place? A mirror?
Galway.
Yeah, the Cliffs of Moher and all that. Yeah, that's beautiful people.
Oh yeah, yeah. And I noticed there, I didn't see any policemen anywhere, and so we were sitting at this outdoor place having a sandwich, and I was talking to the guy next to us. I told him, man, I don't see any policemen. He said, well,
yeah,
we don't have any crime here.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thank you, sir. I
Thanks.
got to leave.
Awesome.
Thank you. Check out my new book,
Yeah.
New York City Mayhem. It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm going to have some ice cream in a little while. I'll be thinking about you too.
It's like, writing a novel is like preparing a big Thanksgiving dinner, and then the reading goes a lot faster than the writing.
Hey, William, put it in the chat so we can write it down, because I can't see the screen. It's too small.
All right.
From Amazon. I'm halfway through that book, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm not a crime novel, person. I don't regularly read them, but I'm enjoying this.
But in this one, there's a mystery behind the mystery.
Is there going to be an audible of it?
Well, yeah, I think Wayne Kirkpatrick has offered me his studio. He's not there much right now. He's going to be in London, and I could, if I'm in Nashville, I could go out and read it myself, I guess.
I'm just going to wait for the movie.
There you go. There you go.
All right, everyone. Well, it's a good meeting
Goodbye,
tonight.
guys.
Bless you.
Thanks everyone for coming. Thank you, Billy. We love it, love it, love it.
Stay inspired.
I'll see some of you this weekend at Market Hall.
And we will see some of you guys this weekend at the guitar show.
Thanks for your patience.
Beautiful.
Thanks
All
for your
right.
patience with my mute.
Nighty night, everyone.
Night all.
Bye-bye.